What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the 10-Minute Clinic, the show where I talk about whatever the fuck I want as a form of therapy. Remember that this show is unscripted and unfiltered. With that being said, the doctor's in. Today I just want to talk about how I really don't actually like the color red. Even though you see a lot of red all the time, like literally in every episode I've been wearing a red shirt. I just happen to have a lot of red shirts, because I worked at this place that had red shirts, and then I live in this place that just really likes the color red for some reason. I don't really understand it either, so yeah, that's why there's been a lot of red, just because it's around all the time, so deal with it. And if you don't like red, I'm probably going to be wearing a different color at some point, so maybe stick around to find out if I wear another color. Just like you're still waiting around to see if that Instagram comes out, it hasn't yet, so keep waiting, it probably will at some point maybe, you know? And, yeah, so, basically, funny story, I'm kinda a criminal or whatever, not really, but I thought I was for a second because I was driving home from work, and a cop got behind me I was probably about 15 minutes away from my house, and I didn't really think anything of it because, like, sure, I'm, like, driving in the main part of town, sure, a cop can get behind me. Well, then the cop followed me for about 10 minutes of the 15-minute drive that I had left to go home, and at about minute number 8, he flashes his lights at me, and so I pull over, and then he comes up to my car and is like, put your hands on the wheel, da 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 da, you know, cop stuff. And then I'm like, okay, this is weird. Never been pulled over like this before. Because I might have a problem with speeding, maybe. Probably. I like to go fast. Anyways, he was like, put your hands on the wheel. So I did, because, you know, not a criminal. And then, literally, 12 other cop cars pull up. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on, y'all? It was crazy. So I'm like, can I ask what I'm being pulled over for? And he said, yeah, we'll get to it when we have a second. And I was like, okay. He's like, I need your license and registration, but don't reach it. Keep your hands on the wheel. Is that it in your wallet? And I was like, yeah. He goes, can I grab it? I was like, sure, whatever. And so he kept basically stressing for me to keep my hands on the wheel. Because, I don't know. At this point, I didn't know what had happened. And so I'm going to keep it like y'all don't know either, so I'll tell y'all whenever I found out what was happening. So he goes back to the car, and then the other cops start walking around me and surround the car. There's literally like at least 8 other officers around my car, and then a couple officers talking to the one that pulled me over. And I'm like, so do y'all know what's going on? And they're like, I don't know, just a traffic stop, you know? It's like, this isn't a traffic stop. Why are there so many of y'all? You just happen to be in the same neighborhood? That's kind of weird. And then the guy comes over and brings me my license back. He's like, Mr. Murray, we're going to need you to step out the car. And then I was like, okay. And so then I hear on his radio, they said, we apprehended the suspect. Talking about the one that had burgled the Walmart. Burgled. What the fuck? These people thought I was an armed burglar, y'all. I don't even fucking like guns. I don't like knives. Like, I'm very anti, like, violence altogether. But these people thought I was about to burgle the Walmart. What the fuck? And so I'm like, okay, well, what do I need to do? They're like, get out the car, put your hands on the car, on the roof or whatever, and can we pat you down? So then they patted me down, and then they asked to search my car, and I didn't have anything to hide, so I let them search my car, but I was like, can I watch y'all do it though? And then he was like, yeah, I guess so. So then, you know, I was just watching him search my car, and he goes, this is probably one of the cleanest cars I've seen. I was like, yeah, it's new, I just got it, because, you know, I'm a good person. And he's like, okay, cool, so you said you work at, when did you get off? I was like, at like 10:40, here's my clock out slip right here. And I showed it to him. He's like, oh, okay, cool. How fast do you drive when you're coming back from Douglas, where you work? And I was like, probably it's like 45 or 55 all the way, so probably like an average of 50, I guess. And he was like, oh, okay, so you were driving home when this happened? I was like, when what happened? I still don't know what's going on. And so then he was like, well, someone was running from the cops, and your vehicle and you fit the description of the person that was running. And I was like, okay, interesting. Can I call my mom? So then I called my mom, and I was like having a panic attack and crying, and I felt like I was going to throw up. Well, it's also raining. It is literally storming, and it's pouring rain, and I'm just sitting there getting wet. And anytime they'd ask me any questions, I'd just respond with like, my pleasure, or yes sir, or whatever. Just like being very off-putting about it, because I had no reason to be there, and they already knew that it wasn't me. So then a couple of the officers started leaving, and he's like, we have to sit here and wait for the sheriff to come and make sure that you are not the suspect, even though the suspect is in his car. Like, the suspect was literally in the sheriff's car, but like, what the fuck? So you have to come make sure that it's not me, even though you have him? What kind of sense does that make? It doesn't. So, yeah, basically all I'm saying is like, fuck 12. But not like, fuck, that's different than fuck the police, because honestly, some police do their job. 12, I've never heard 12 in a good connotation, so fuck 12. Yeah, so that's basically my story time of the day, and I wasted 6.5 minutes, a little over that. I do have this theory. Y'all know Old Greg? Old Greg! You know him? Well, my theory is that Old Greg is actually just Greg, but he got his mojo back. Like, Greg's back to the old him. He's doing his thing. He's living his best life now. He's like old Greg. Like the Greg that everyone loved and remembered. And that's just my theory, honestly. Imagine just old Greg walking around, like, reading a book. Old Greg. I'm Old Greg. And he's just reading a book, and he's like, you know, Old Greg, I'm not like other girls. And you know how you know that I'm not like other girls? Because I'm just not. So yeah, Old Greg is living his best life again, honestly. How do y'all feel about Tana's MTV series thing? I'm really excited for it, honestly. Like, I know it's already out and I haven't put any effort into watching it, but like, I think it's cool that she's up and moving. She's like making moves and shit. Like, I know a lot of people aren't the biggest fans of her or anything, but I really appreciate like her, like, she's a mogul, honestly. She's moving up, and like, she's doing what she's got to do, even if it's like just for clout, honestly. Because honestly, I would too. Like, make that money, get your coin, bitch. That's what I'm trying to do. Not like necessarily with this, but with life in general. I'm just trying to get my coin. And like, fucking, if you ain't trying to pay, like, what's up? Looking for a sugar daddy. My last one got really sus. If you want a story time, let me know in the comments. It was kind of a wild adventure. So basically, you ever just doodle sometimes? Because I have a little section in my little notebook that says pen test, but really I've just been doodling in it. Like, it's a bunch of scribbles and stuff, but I turned the scribbles into like faces or something, and it's always so cute. Honestly, I doodle oh my god. I just got a text about food, and I could never be more happy about it, honestly. So, I think I'm probably gonna go eat now, because my mother made chicken Alfredo, and it honestly sounds so fucking good right now. Because I went swimming before I started filming this episode. With that being said, the doctor's gonna be back tomorrow. And by tomorrow, I mean probably later tonight after I eat. I'll let you know how the Alfredo was. If you want a recipe, let me know. Thanks. The doctor will be back tomorrow.